I am both very excited and very nervous for today's video because I think it's just time that I be brutally ruthless with my TBR and the books that I've read. Just all my books. I want to do a big unhaul. I need to get my priorities right because there's some books I'm really excited about and some books I'm just not, and I need to be okay with that, you know? I also need to be okay with getting rid of some of the books that I've already read, which generally that's an easier thing for me. So I wanted to make a video about it because I want your opinion on some of these because I value your opinion. A lot of these books I feel like I ended up with because of things I heard in like my comments and everything. And so I want to make sure that I'm not getting rid of something that people think that I'll really like or that they really like and they want to see me review or talk about in some capacity. We're doing this together. Feel free to have any thoughts at all at the books that I choose to get rid of or the ones that I choose to keep. Let me know those thoughts in the comments. Anyways, hi, my name is Sarah Freshly and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. So let's just rip off the band-aid. I think I'm gonna go shelf by shelf. So we have 10 like little shelves to get through. This one down here doesn't really count. I already know that I'm keeping all the books that are here just because they're specific for a video. So I'm not gonna talk through them. So I think I'm gonna start with this shelf that's down here. And I'm gonna try to be quick about this. Actually, before I start with that shelf, there were some books that I had that were kind of in other areas. One, or a group of them, is the Dune series. This is all of them except for like Dune, as in the first book, because I'd already read it. I actually decided before this video that I'm going to not continue with the series. I read a bit of the second book, Dune Messiah, and then came to the decision that it just wasn't for me. Oh, and then I have this book, which isn't really on the bookshelf just because it's so big, but this is an Art Spiegelman, In the Shadow of No Towers. This is the author that did Mouse, so I really want to read this. It's a graphic novel and it's gorgeous. Like, come on. I'm definitely keeping this. Okay. So now we're gonna go through this one. A lot of these ones are recent. Most of my shelves, with the exception of the ones that are stacked upright, are just put in order of when I got the books. And then the ones in stacks are like special things. So the further to the bottom, that means the sooner that I've gotten it. So I'm gonna really quickly go through the ones that were just on the haul video that I did because obviously I'm keeping them and I still wanna read them. So we've got Ian McEwan's Atonement, The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. Also, if you could let me know other novels by YouTubers that you would like to see me read. I'd love to do a video about it. I'm not really interested in doing like the memoir books, but anything where YouTubers have like gotten into novels, especially, I don't know if how many have written like mystery novels. I think maybe Zoe Sugg wrote a mystery novel, but if there's like several of those, I think that could be a cool video concept, but I only know of those two. So Don Quixote was also from that haul, so I'm obviously keeping. Little Women was also from that haul. And actually, should we just grab the rest of the books that were a part of that haul just because I know that I'm keeping it? So True Biz, Daughters of Fortune, and then these four here. So we have Cultish, Saint X, which I'm more excited than ever to read now that I've read elsewhere and loved it. Then we've got In the Dream House and The Appeal. I'm so excited to read this one. Okay, but continuing with these ones down here. From Goodwill, I found The Kept Woman by Karen Slaughter. I do really want to read Karen Slaughter. I actually found another book by her, Pretty Girls. This one I'm more excited about, so I'll probably read this one first and then decide on this one, depending on how much I like the writing. I also found The Name of the Wind there. I have a lot of friends that have been wanting me to read that for a long time. I wound up with this one, which is a thriller, but I don't think that I'm that excited about it. This one's for the unhaul. Again, anything that I say I'm unhauling, if you're like, no, don't unhaul that, it's amazing, then please do let me know. Okay, this one's really tough. So this is Blue Ticket by Sophie McIntosh. If that name sounds familiar to you, she was longlisted this year for the Women's Prize with Cursed Bread, which I just recently DNF'd. But this one sounds so interesting, but also I thought that about Cursed Bread. I think I'm gonna say no to this one. Please tell me otherwise. Or if even you've read The Water Cure by Sophie McIntosh and was like, oh yeah, that was so much better than Cursed Bread, please let me know. This is another book that I found at Goodwill, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I'm keeping it. It was on that list that I did, the 30 books to read in your 30s, that I might try to read a few books from, so. And then these are the books that I got from Barnes & Noble with my gift card. I'm thinking of Ending Things, The Kind Worth Killing, and The Bell Jar, which I've never read before. Okay, that's this bottom shelf done. This shelf is really easy to do because I'm keeping all of them. I know I said I'd be ruthless, and you might be thinking, what are you doing? This isn't ruthless. But these books, all of them are on the 100 books bucket list that I have, so I need them. I gotta keep them, you know. But I do think I'm gonna remove them from the shelf because I'm probably gonna reorganize the entire bookshelf, so they've gotta come off. I'm gonna face this way and do these. So first of all, these books here, oh, now we're gonna uncover my little tchotchkes. I used to have these decorative things on my bookshelf, but I got too many books that they wouldn't fit anymore. Like, this is money from a bunch of countries that I've visited. But anyways, these books here are for TBR spin, so I can't change those. Okay, this book I just got and I can't wait to read this. This is coming out in October and I'll be reading it very, very soon. Okay, so this is actually part of my 23 books in 2023. It's this stack and this stack here together. However, I do think some of these books I no longer want to read. So first of all is Max and the Cats, which I was going to read because I wanted to compare it to Life of Pi, because this author was kind of upset saying that essentially Anne Martell had copied him, and Life of Pi is one of my favorite books of all time. The big similarity, of course, would be like a big cat on a small boat with like one person trapped on it, but I think they're doing such different things that it doesn't really make sense to compare them, and I'm just not as excited about that video idea as I was before. And then The True History of the Kelly Gang. Kieran, if you're watching, go away. I was going to try reading a lot of Booker winners, but that's not something I want to do anymore. It's a lot, it's a big undertaking, and I think I'm just too excited to read about new books or older books that I'm hearing talked about a lot, that I don't really want to grab old books that aren't being talked about a lot, you know? So this book I think I'm just gonna part ways with. So sorry. This is one way to get through your 23 books in 2023. Just unhaul them. And then we have Milk Fed. So I just read Melissa Broder's new book, Death Valley, and while I didn't dislike it, I also didn't like it either. It was so middle of the road for me that it made me lose all of my excitement about reading Milk Fed. Yeah, you know, I'm not excited about it. If I'm not excited about it, it shouldn't be on my list. Like, it shouldn't be in my TBR, but you let me know. Clearly can't make decisions for myself. Another fun decorative item, but also useful. A pencil sharpener. This was my grandpa's actually. But all of these I think I'm going to keep. Rosemary's Baby, this I got originally for a video that I don't even know if I'm going to do anymore. Maybe I will. I still have the footage from the beginning of it. I don't know. And then the Joy Luck Club, for sure. I've actually already read this, but I remembered it so little and I wanted to read it again so badly that it's just on my regular TBR. The Tao of Pooh, I really want to read. The Octopus Man I got while I was in London and I'm still very excited about. Am I though? Am I very excited about it still? Maybe I'm not. I don't think that I am. Why is this so difficult? I think it's like knowing that I went into a bookstore and I picked this and I paid full price for it, and now I'm sitting here being like, maybe I don't want to read it after all. Like, that feels bad. But it also feels bad to keep it and not read it and like not be excited about it. Okay, I'm putting it in the unhaul pile. We said we were being ruthless. Acrylic I'm definitely keeping. Jill sent it to me and I still very much want to read it. Okay, should we continue going through the 23 books in 2023? Let's do it. If You Could Live Anywhere, I definitely still want to keep this one and I want to read it soon because we're probably going to move out of Florida next year. Memories of the Black Rose Cat. I got this while I was in Thailand and this is a Thai author and I still really want to read this book. Beach Read, I got this from a holiday book swap and I am kind of weirdly excited about it, even though, ooh, it comes with a bookmark. I didn't know this. Oh, it's so cute. Look at that. It's so cute. But yeah, I want to read this one. I haven't read any Emily Henry. It's super out of my comfort zone. And I have a vague video idea in my head for what I want to do with that one. Now this one. I was excited about this one, but I think I was more excited about it because it was going to be a Hulu series and I've heard literally nothing about it since it's come out, which I think has really taken the wind out of my sails with this one. Okay, I'm putting it in the unhaul unless you tell me otherwise. Okay, this is part of the reason I wanted to do this is for Kurt Vonnegut. As you may or may not know, Kurt Vonnegut, I would say, is my favorite author. However, the more reading that I do, the more I don't feel the pull to read his books. I think also it's just like a different time in my life. And I think that I'm more just holding on because it feels like it's a part of who I am as a reader. This is kind of like a good edition of this book though, which seems crazy to get rid of. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep Jailbird, mostly because this edition is like actually a decent edition that I got from this like book fair, but we're gonna come to other Kurt Vonnegut and I'm gonna part with those. That's what I'm gonna do. We're compromising. The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, I definitely still want to keep. I'm still really curious about this one and I know there's people that are excited for me to read it and I feel bad that I haven't yet. Groundskeeping by Lee Cole. Ooh. This one I got from a publisher. I got this from Knopf Publishing. Actually, you know what? I thought that I was gonna go the other way on this. I thought I was gonna be like, no, I don't really want to read this anymore. But now that I'm rereading the synopsis, I'm still interested in this. It feels kind of like a get your life together situation, and I love those. I think I've just been holding back because it's set in 2016, and I don't want to mentally return there, even though the world seems to be returning there. Anywho. We Are the Light by Matthew Quick, who wrote Silver Linings Playbook. I think I'm still... Actually, no. No, I don't think I'm excited about this. This one I'm really struggling with. I'm gonna put it on the Unhaul for now, but I'm keeping all of the books on the Unhaul until I post this video because I might change my mind about some of these. Okay, Final Girls by Riley Sager. I've been wanting to read all of his books, so of course I want to read this one as well. The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I nearly unhauled this once and I was told not to because it's great, so I'm not going to unhaul it now. Amor Towles' The Lincoln Highway. Of course I'm keeping this. Of course I am. It's Amor Towles, you know? I say that like, I really like his books. This little section here is all books that I've been sent by publishers, and I think that all of these I'm going to be keeping. But just to quickly go through what they all are, we've got Lessons by Ian McEwan, The Persuaders by Anand, Gary Haradas, maybe? Teaching White Supremacy by Donald Iacovone, maybe? Sacred Nature by Karen Armstrong. We've got Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Other People's Clothes by Kala Henkel. And lastly, Counterweight. Is it by Juna? And then it's translated by Anton Herr. Last one in this area, and also it's like a mess behind this one. Just forgive me, there are string lights behind these, and yeah. So, Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? I read Normal People and I didn't like it. This was given to me by a friend who was kind of like, hey, I'm getting rid of this book, like, do you want it? It wasn't like a gift. And I don't think I'm excited about reading it. And this was huge, so I was like, oh, maybe I should read it, but that's a silly way to live life, right? Ox and I also came from that same friend at the same time, and I feel the same about it. Whisper of Death. This one I got purely because it's a bad book, from what I've heard, and I kind of wanted to read a bad book and talk about a bad book and have a drink and just like, I don't know, it just seemed like a fun video idea, like to complain about a book. So I'm keeping it. Roots and Malcolm X by Alex Haley. I'm definitely keeping both of these. Oh, The Night Swim. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. I have all the Bourne books, which feels weird. Ooh, no. My mom found them in like an antique shop that had like a cheap book section, and I just think it'd be a fun time and a fun video. So I think I'm gonna keep these. Let's head up to the top shelves. Okay, we're in top shelf territory. These I can move. Also, the books that are up here, these are books that I have already read, but I've chosen to keep. The ones down here are still a part of my TBR. These here are the oldest books on my TBR. A Clockwork Orange. I believe actually I'll be reading this for a Ted Lasso video at some point because I think that they do reference it. I can't remember now. So that clearly means that I'm keeping it. I've never seen the movie, but I'd like to, which is kind of why I got this one as well. I want to watch the movie, but I want to read the book first. So I'm keeping this one. The New Jim Crow, definitely want to keep. The Little Friend, definitely want to keep. Bloody Rose, I'm actually very excited about, but there were very specific reasons why I hadn't read this one yet. I've almost unhauled this so many times. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This seems out of my comfort zone, but for some reason, I just don't get rid of it. But I feel like we're being vicious right now, and I'm unhauling it. The Uninhabitable Earth by David Wallace Wells. I am still excited. Am I still excited about reading this? Maybe I'm not. I really enjoyed reading Sapiens, and I think that these two I've got kind of because I feel like they'll be in the same arena. Okay, I think I'm gonna unhaul this one, keep this one. We've got two Kurt Vonnegut books. So we've got God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater and Mother Night, both of which I think I'm gonna unhaul officially. Short stories in Spanish. This is just to help me learning Spanish, so I'm keeping it. Ooh, okay, infinite chest. I'm keeping this. I will do this at some point. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I definitely still want to read this one. Pretty as a Picture, I think I can go ahead and say no to. This is another thriller that I have other thrillers I'm more excited about. Then we've got How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. I think while I am excited about reading The Midnight Library, How to Stop Time, I'm like meh about. And I feel like it's silly to continue to hold on to feeling that way. Maybe I'll read Midnight Library and be like, yes, Matt Haig, like let me read everything he's ever written. But until that happens, I think I'm gonna go ahead and unhaul this. A Little Brother by Cory Doctorow I got because I really loved something else by Cory Doctorow. I still want to read this. Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. I still very much want to read this. This is the entire Expanse series here, which I have actually already read these two, so really only these ones are on my TBR, but I'm going to be rereading at least the first one with my sci-fi book group that has Gemma from Gem of Books, Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot, and Fraser from Springboard Thought. We are going to be reading Leviathan Wakes together in July, and I'm hoping that they love the series and that we can continue on and that I can just be reading with other people the whole time. But if they don't, that's totally fine too, and I'll just continue on my own. Okay, then we have Waypoints by Robert Martineau. This book wasn't exactly what I thought it was when I had gotten it, but I don't know. We're being ruthless. We're being ruthless. H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. This was actually on my TBR spin, but recently it gotten taken off in a swap. I still very much want to read this. And then we have A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James. I still very much want to read this. Okay, oh my gosh. We did all of my TBR. It's just the books that I've already read that we have left. Let's get through it. The first one is Armageddon in Retrospect by Kurt Vonnegut. I did really like them, but I think of my Kurt Vonnegut stuff, it's not one that I want to keep. I have other Kurt Vonnegut books besides the ones that are here. They are just like on display in my living room because they all look so nice together. Also, the ones out there I more specifically want to keep, meaning the ones in here I don't care as deeply about, except for this one. I love this one. This is like my copy of Breakfast of Champions that has the original cover. It's not like a first edition or anything, but it's still, I got it at the same point that I got the Jailbird that we talked about earlier. So that one I want to keep, but this one I want to get rid of. The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro I loved and I want to keep, but I hate this cover. I hate movie covers on books. If I want to reread it, I'll just get it again in a cover that I like. Bluebeard, I like this cover of this book, but I don't really have any like feelings towards keeping it or rereading it or anything. Yeah, I think that this is an unhaul. Interior Chinatown. I did really love this one, but I can't see myself rereading it. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I could 1000% see myself rereading. Happy Stories Mostly. This one I almost unhauled and then I ended up keeping. I think I'm actually ready to unhaul this time though. Yeah. Filthy Animals by Brandon Taylor, and we'll talk about Real Life at the same time. Real Life I definitely want to keep. I could see myself rereading this one, but I don't know about Filthy Animals. Oh, but they look so good together. No, I'm keeping both of them. It's my life. I can do what I want. Now we're getting into Jeff Vandermeer. So Dead Astronauts I liked, I didn't love, but I met Jeff Vandermeer when I got this book and I have his autograph in it. I can't see myself parting with this one. Kings of the Wild, I don't think that I'll reread it again, but I do think that I want to pass this along to a friend of mine specifically that I think is going to really like this series. The Annihilation series. It's actually not called the Annihilation series. What is it called? The Southern Reach trilogy. Gorgeous covers. I love the way they look together and I really enjoyed these, but I don't think that I would reread them. I don't really want to hold on to books anymore that I'm not going to reread unless I love them for some other reason. Like Dead Astronauts. I don't think I'm going to reread that book, but that it just means so much to me. At Night All Blood is Black I'm keeping. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I do think that this is a helpful thing, but also I feel like I can find all these tips online now. Hocus Pocus and The Sirens of Titan by Kurt Vonnegut. I think this one for sure can be a unhaul. I just don't think that I really remember anything about this. So do I want to reread it? Not really. Okay, I'm unhauling. Life of Pi. Easy. Keeping for sure. Jurassic Park I really enjoyed, but I'm not really sure about keeping it. No. I'm gonna get rid of it. Black Butterflies I had put on my to keep shelf just recently, but I think realistically I probably won't reread it. I just loved it so much that I couldn't bear the thought of passing it along and donating it right after having read it. But with it going out with a bunch of other books, I feel more comfortable with that. Bird by Anne Lamott, I absolutely loved. I read this for my Ted Lasso video, and I think that there's still things that I would go back to in this, so I'm gonna keep it. David Foster Wallace, Brief Interviews with Hideous Men. I definitely want to keep this. There are several short stories in here that I really loved. The Overstory. I nearly passed this one along before. I think I want to reread this one though, actually. I think I'd like this more than I did even when I read it, because I feel like I've become more the reader that would like this book. Okay, let's talk about both of Amor Towles' books at the same time. As I said, I really like Amor Towles' writing, and yeah, both of these I think that I would reread. Actually, I'd really love to reread these. They're so atmospheric, I think is what I really like about his books. Then we have Burnt Sugar, obviously keeping. Surprise to No One. Sapiens, Brief History of Time. I think I'm gonna, I don't know, I don't think I would reread it, but I do think I'd kind of reference back to it. Slaughterhouse 5, the graphic graphic novel. I love this. I'm definitely keeping this. Lastly, we have my D&D Player's Handbook, which is also what this is from. This is a D&D mug with my character's name on it. That I've been playing forever. Keeping. I use this all the time. Okay, we did it. I might insert a clip of all the books that I unhauled. I feel good. I feel good about this. I'm really happy that I've gone through all these. I'm not looking forward to figuring out how to get them, what I have back on my shelf, but this makes me feel more excited. I feel like going through a big unhaul makes me more excited about the reading that I have, the books that I actually truly want to read that are on my TBR. And I think that this is just hugely necessary. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Please do let me know any thoughts that you have about the books that I have decided to keep or not keep to help me make this decision. I'm going to keep all of the books that I have in my unhaul pile until this video comes out and a little bit after to see what kind of comments I get, just in case there are some gems in there that I'm about to get rid of. So basically I'm saying, please help me. Okay, thank you. Anyways, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to see me hopefully reduce my TBR number, but by reading the books. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.